When talking about how the manager's role changes when moving to Scrum, it helps to start with the manager's responsibilities that do not change. First, the project manager is responsible for much more than just software development. They are responsible for communication and collaboration across the company for the new product, working with marketing, technical support, logistics, and the executive team. The manager is responsible for controlling the work environment. They must acquire the resources needed, both hardware and software, facilities, and workers. The project manager tracks the budget and works with human resources to ensure company policies and procedures are enforced. The project manager is also responsible for people management, including hiring and firing, salaries, performance reviews, discipline, and dealing with outside efforts, such as H-1B visa applications. Also, the project manager may be responsible for multiple projects within the same program. Within a product line, this could include managing the deployment and support of one release while the next release is in development. It could include maintenance upgrades of supporting software or hardware in the field, or managing multiple development groups working on different aspects of a very large project. What changes is the relationship between the project manager and the Scrum development team. In the Scrum world, the project manager is an involved role. They have an interest in the project, but are not committed like the Scrum core roles. The Scrum core roles are accountable for the success of the product delivered, so they need to have the authority to create it. The Scrum team is self-directed and does not report to a manager regarding what they work on, how long it will take, or how they do their work. So the project manager does not have a command and control role. Instead, they need to base their relationship with the Scrum team on trust and collaboration. Also, the manager does not have the authority to direct the team to put new features in the product. Instead, they must work with the product owner to get the requirements into the product backlog, and only the product owner has the authority to prioritize the product backlog, meaning their requirement may not be seen as a high priority item. How the manager is used to receiving status also changes. The manager does not call their own development status meetings, as the team must remain focused on the work of the sprint. Instead, the Scrum framework itself provides the transparency needed for stakeholders to stay informed. The manager can view the prioritized product backlog to see the work remaining on the project. And the burn down chart and sprint backlog give visibility into how the current sprint is progressing. At the end of each sprint, the manager can attend the sprint review meeting to monitor the progress of the project and ask questions. And the manager is welcome at the daily Scrum meetings, although they must attend as an observer and are not allowed to talk during the meeting. When using Scrum, the manager should take on two new responsibilities to ensure the success of the project. First, the manager needs to back up the product owner, who has the challenging job of getting requirements from the stakeholders and prioritizing them. Stakeholders can include customers, managers, executives, and anyone that has an interest in the project, but is not actually performing the work. Sometimes stakeholders try to bully the product owner in order to get a higher priority on their pet feature, or to influence which features are included in the sprint. Balancing competing requirements is not easy, especially when others are pushing their requirements through direct communication or by getting the ear of upper management. The manager must assert the product owner's authority to prioritize requirements, as they own the vision of the final product. That doesn't mean the manager cannot have private meetings to discuss any disagreements with the priorities chosen, as long as in public the manager has the product owner's back. Also, the project manager must back up the Scrum Master, as they protect the team from distraction, remove impediments blocking the team's work, and facilitate implementation of the Scrum process. The project manager is critical as an escalation point for the Scrum Master to raise team impediments, as the Scrum Master has no authority on their own. In Scrum, the project manager plays a servant leader role to the Scrum core roles, trading control for leading and helping the team be successful. This is a hard transition for many managers, but managers that hang on to the command and control mentality can sabotage a Scrum project. There are many ways a manager can cause a Scrum project to fail. Some of these include pulling team members off the sprint to work on side projects, micromanaging the team, directing who will work each task, or making technical decisions, instead of letting the team own how the work will be done. They could impose a schedule, instead of letting the product backlog determine what is worked, and the team determine the level of effort of each item. They could add new requirements to an in-progress sprint, instead of working with the product owner to add the items to the product backlog. Lastly, a manager can make a Scrum project fail by changing the sprint's duration to accommodate unfinished tasks, instead of letting the team determine the root cause of the failure in the sprint retrospective, which leads them to implement their own process improvement actions.